Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dicebreaker Podcast, where we are absolutely honoured to be joined by a very special guest here. It's Ross Connell from More Games Please. Hello, Ross. How are you doing?
I'm excellent, and the honour is mine.
Oh,
Mine. don't you dare take that honour away from me, sir.
We are also joined by, as ever, two other members of the team. Alex Lowleys. How you doing?
Yo, it's me. I'm good.
What up? And of course, Liv Kennedy. How you doing, Liv?
Yo, it's me.
And I am your host for the week, as Matt Jarvis is off, Michael Wheels Whelan. Let's do a quick little intro for Ross. For anyone who's not familiar with you, Ross, tell them who you are, what you do, where do you come from, where do you go?
Came from, where'd you go? Yeah.
Cotton Eye Joe. Now I've just got rednecks stuck in my head, so thanks for that. So I am a freelance board game photographer, and I've been working in the industry for 3 years now. I'm also the marketing and community manager for North Star Games, who made Oceans, which you can kind of see down there, in my job. And I stream board games twice a week. And yeah, I like long walks on the beach, etc., etc., etc.
Wonderful.
And what are you
Excellent.
looking for in a partner today?
You Wheels.
Aw.
I want someone who is like a jukebox, and I can just make music suggestions, and they'll just perform a song for me.
I mean, that's Wheels.
Yeah, go.
That is
Yeah.
Wheels.
Go.
That is Wheels.
Well, we are back here for another episode of the Dicebreaker Podcast, and if this is your first time ever tuning in live, or if you're listening after the fact, first of all, we record it every Friday, 2 p.m, live on the Dicebreaker YouTube channel. But second of all, here's how this thing usually goes. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the games that we've been playing this week. Starting with Ross, of course. We're going to talk about some of the biggest articles, or at least the most interesting articles that have gone up on Dicebreaker.com. We're going to do a fun little mini game, which we have one that is kind of imagery based, but in a way that is podcast friendly, especially for us. And then finally, we're going to be answering some questions from the chat. So if you're watching us live, then feel free to pop any questions that you have for us or Ross in the chat, and we'll pick up on them and answer them towards the end of the podcast. If you're listening to this after the fact, you can get in touch with us at podcast@dicebreaker.com. That's podcast@dicebreaker.com. So
One of the things you forgot, Wheels,
yes,
when you covered what we do every week on the podcast,
mm-hmm.
is what episode number is this?
Well, I don't know. This
It's
is
episode 64.
64.
Almost retired. That's the
Sorry?
bingo call.
Right, okay, sorry.
I'm an age, I'm guessing, Lois.
Let's just
Yeah, so
back
we-
up a little bit for us. So every week we normally find out what the bingo call is for the episode number that we're doing.
Okay.
The
Is that the bingo call?
Yes,
the bingo
They're
call
just
is
like,
for-
almost
There's-
retired.
There's two options. The first one is Red Raw, which is just a plain rhyme. I thought it was a bit boring. 64 Red Raw doesn't really work that well either.
I don't know. It makes me
And-
uncomfortable too.
yeah, it makes me
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's no explanation. They just
I think
go,
it feels
it's a simple rhyme.
it ties in with Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah.
For me.
little
Like,
bit.
it's like that. Too much time on the saddle.
The best
Carry
one
on.
we've had so far, unfortunately, Lolies wasn't here for, which is episode 60. Grandma's Getting Frisky, which is one of the
Oh,
best
yeah.
That was
ones
the best
I've
one.
ever seen.
What?
It is what it sounds like.
No, yeah, 64 almost retired is because the pension age or whatever is 65. So
Thanks,
Next week's
bingo.
next week's one ties in with that.
I
I
can't
Do they
wait
have
on
to
that.
swap that around if they go to a different country with different pension laws? Is that...
I think there'll be different bingo calls because it'll be different languages.
I mean,
really.
let's be honest, they're going to keep pushing that pension age back. So it's just
Yeah,
gonna, we have to
exactly.
keep changing it every
Hold
year.
on a minute, I thought it was 64 that was almost retired. No, it's 80, 85 now.
It's a good thing we're retiring the podcast next week. We're not actually.
Well,
I mean, we said we were retiring when we run out of bingo calls, so that is fairly soon.
yeah,
Okay,
no, we
well.
are running out of time. We haven't done 69 yet, so we can't stop now. But anyway, let's crack on with the podcast at large. And we'll start with you, Ross. Tell us a little bit about the games that you've been playing in the past week. And it doesn't just have to be games, by the way. Anything that you think has been interesting happening in your life, you let us know.
TV shows.
Yeah.
I mean,
places you've
now,
been.
not only do I have to seem like I play games, I also have to seem like I've got a life. And that is, you're asking a lot of me here. Luckily,
balance,
luckily, the game side I've got covered.
Mhm.
The rest, not a lot's occurred. So this week, because I can stream and I know how to stream online, I streamed Chronicles of Crime 1900
Ooh.
over Zoom with my sister, so she could see the board game on the Chronicles of Crime is a cooperative detective game where you're working together to solve cases. And it uses your phone. It has like an app, and you scan like a series of QR codes on your phone, and you'll scan them to like talk to a suspect and ask them about different items that you've found and go to different locations. You can even look around the crime scene.
Yeah,
using
there's like a sort of VR investigation thing, right?
which is really cool. Anyway, like I was able to, I've figured out previously how to share my phone on screen, like on a Zoom call.
Ooh.
So she could see when we looked around the scene, what was going on. Anyway, me and my sister got 100 out of 100. So we're a crack team of detectives.
That was the
I know.
tutorial, right? Is that?
Yeah.
I think that like gives you the license to actually start a detective agency. I'm pretty
I mean,
sure.
like if the photography
It's
thing
a
doesn't
bit-
work out, it's definitely a fallback plan for me. So otherwise, I also played Under Falling Skies, which is a solo only game. And that is a bit like Space Invaders for I'm aging myself, but the people who know what that means, which is basically a big grid, and there's a mothership, and there's these little alien ships getting lower and lower towards you, and you're trying to like blow them up. But you're also trying to research how to stop the mothership, so that like you're excavating the base, etc. There's like a couple of different things you're doing, but it's a really cool little puzzle, and it's got a campaign mode in it, which I haven't tried yet. But if anyone is interested in solo games, it's always cool when it's actually really well thought out, and it's not just like a slimmed down version of the regular.
Yeah, I didn't know there were that many like elements to it, because I've played Flip Ships, which is like the dexterity game version. But that's literally just like ships are coming, destroy them, just like the original.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was like a whole narrative arc that could be explored.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how deep it is because I've not tried it yet, but yeah, there's like a little campaign thing, which I guess it just introduces some new abilities or stuff. I don't know. Also, I played Railroad Inc. Lush Green Edition, a Railroad Inc. Challenge.
Oh, I've got
Lush
that right
Green.
here actually.
There we go.
Okay.
Right off screen.
So whilst Wheels is picking it up, Railroad Inc. is a game where you roll a bunch of dice and you'll get highways or roads and railroad tracks, and you're trying to create like a vast network of road and rail that connects with all these different exit ways to score points. In the new edition, it comes with objective cards, which kind of gives you a new way to score. It also has like little buildings on the map, which can give you tiny little abilities. So it's like Railroad Inc. Plus, I would describe it as.
I'm like furiously doing B-roll in the background, trying to keep up with all the things that Ross is saying for all of the people who are not going to watch the live video and just listen to it anyway.
We're getting
I appreciate the
ASMR.
effort.
Yeah,
I'm getting box ASMR.
it's all about going the extra mile. Yeah, no, I really like. So I never played the original Railroad Inc. But we got sent a challenge. I think I spoke about it on the podcast we did with Tony Facinda, which was a couple of weeks ago. But the digital version as well is absolutely lovely. Like genuinely really, really nice. Like, because I've played a lot of digital versions of board games. I think we've got evolution codes just sending through to us recently, actually. So a little bit of a North Star plug for you. But
Thanks, I appreciate it.
but yeah, like there's quite a few sort of like quite janky offerings that I've played before. I won't sort of name and shame, but like a lot of the sort of board game digital versions seem quite sort of rushed out the door. Whereas like Railroad Inc., despite like it's obviously quite like a a simple thing to show visually because it's already kind of just like, you know, you're crossing paths and all that kind of stuff. But there is just that little sort of like element of polish that they put in, like there's little illustrations and all that kind of stuff that pop up when you finish routes and all that kind of thing. It's really nice. It's genuinely really good.
It's funny because, you know, there's like certain like themes in board games that get used a lot, like trains is one. Space is one.
Yeah.
I'm just
Fantasy,
literally
adventurers, zombies, Cthulhu.
Cthulhu, yeah. So there's loads of different things. I find actually thinking about it, like train games is actually, it's quite a strong one. I like any train game that I'm thinking of, I'm like, yeah, that's a good one and that's a good one. Except for Ticket to Ride, obviously, that's really let that side down. But I guess
Tell us how you really feel.
Any chance to talk about how Lolies doesn't know Ticket to Ride?
But genuinely, like overall, I mean, like, Ticket to Ride is a good game. I just don't like.
Did Ticket to Ride wrong you, like in a previous life or something?
It's just boring.
I've never played it. I'd like to. I want to see.
Have you tried like the shorter versions, like Ticket to Ride New York?
Yeah.
Have you played Europe? Because that is the definitive. Yes. Yeah, that's the definitive one. So if you don't like that, that's fine.
If you don't like Ticket to Ride, you don't want to play it for 90 minutes. Like 20 minutes Ticket to Ride makes more sense, right? But if you're like, why don't you play Ticket to Ride for an hour and a half? If you don't like it, it's not gonna win you over.
I think I played Europe once many years ago, so I don't really remember anything about it. So I'd be willing to give that another go. But like, it's just you know.
So the best thing about Europe is you get little stations that allow you to borrow somebody else's route, which means that you can't get blocked quite as much, which makes it a bit less annoying.
Well, I don't think that's not my problem in Ticket to Ride though, because the thing is, I like games like that, right? You know, I like games like that. My problem with Ticket to Ride is that it's dull. It's just boring.
Ross, what's a train game that you hate?
But the stations though, and they stop you getting blocked. That's good.
I think when I as I said, like train games is quite a strong, like it's a theme that's quite strong. I think when it comes to board games, and I think they're just better train games, like Colt Express.
I don't know if call Colt Express a train game. I know it's set on a train.
Anyone doesn't know, it's cowboys running along a train robbing it.
Yeah.
Which is not like that. You can't like. Ticket to Ride versus Colt Express. It's kind of very.
I wouldn't say that they were like colleagues, you know, like.
No, I think it's a train game. Thank you very much.
Train adjacent, sure.
It's got a train. It's got a train in it.
The train is 3D, and it's
train
very important.
In Colt Express
it's a very important part of the game. It's like the main part of the game. I'm not going to hear anything else.
But also, it could be like a boat, and it would still make sense.
If they were riding on dolphins.
Well, no, because it's a train robbery.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You've really got me there. Out of all the games you've been playing this week, what's been your favorite, Ross?
Oh no!
Yeah, big question.
I think
right on the spot.
It might be
Ticket
for
to
the
Ride.
possibility. Ticket to Ride. No, for the possibility of what the campaign will be like. So basically, it's the imagined future of this game, which is under falling skies. Because I'm like, there's a campaign and I haven't even tried it, and I liked the base game. So what does that mean?
It feels a bit like you didn't like any of the games, so you're having to make up a potential.
What I'm going to say is I loved them all equally, and every board game is special to me.
Yeah.
Please hire me to photograph them.
Like a child, yes.
Excellent.
You got it. No, you got. I got you.
I think Liv meant special to you like a child, not photographing like a child.
I am very much like a child, so I was like,
okay.
It could go either way.
The ultimate dig.
Ross, you are a child.
I've got two older sisters, so I'm just expecting to get a dig at some point.
I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest of four, so I'm very, very used to being the receiving end of some crap.
It's funny actually. I'm the youngest, and I never consider myself as the youngest.
Liv, you're technically the youngest and oldest.
Exactly. I was going to say I'm an only child.
Oh, I was like, how does that work?
Science.
Lotus is
Science,
hit with a
everyone.
riddle.
My mind was like doing that maths meme. I
Equations
was like,
flying about.
does she have like an older sibling, but then she has a younger sibling, and it's like, I don't know.
And I just took over. I was like, actually, no, I'm the oldest and the youngest.
Right, well, Liv, what have you and the twin that you absorbed in the womb been playing this week?
Oh, yes, myself and Felicity. Why do I always go to Felicity?
I don't know. Probably ask a therapist.
Yeah, probably should. So, I've been playing. Surprise, surprise. I blame Lolies, but Star Realms. Been playing more of that.
Wait,
this
you've
week.
been playing more Star Realms than me.
Yeah, I know, probably. I think I'm getting better. Sorry, I've just noticed in the podcast doc that Lolies has typed poops next to what she's been playing. Cool. Yeah, no, behind the scenes. Yeah, no, so that's fun. I think I'm getting better, Lolies, I think, which is cool.
Is
Challenge me.
that the app you've been playing?
Exactly, yes. We did a stream a few weeks ago now where Lolies coached me on how to play, and been putting that coaching to the test and getting better. Although I keep getting tagged on Twitter by people who've played against me and just gone, "Oh, good job." No, but like it's very fun. It's like, "Oh, thanks for helping me learn." So but no. So that's been fun. I have played 2 sessions of D&D this week.
Whoa.
Yeah. We have a homebrew game on Monday. During this homebrew, we were stunned for a minute during combat, so that was great for a bunch of us. We eventually got out of it, so that was great combat. Loved it.
That's D&D combat.
Is that like the equivalent of like a gang of fainting goats? And you just all go like, "Ugh!" and just all go on the floor.
Turning up to the fight and immediately collapsing.
Basically, there was this huge like metal cat that just kind of did the inception "Wah!" at us, and then we couldn't move for a bit. It's fine. We survived, so that was good. Last night I played more of the Icewind Dale campaign. Once again, we're in spoilery location, but it's very good. My character's ex is back on the scene. I know. So something that's quite fun about Icewind Dale is that when you start the campaign, you can like get a secret that like every character has a secret that they can act on during the campaign. I was like, yeah, no, I'm obviously going to take this one that allows me to choose any character, any NPC we meet during the game and say, we dated.
Nice.
I think I may have chosen the big bad. We'll find out.
Well,
Are those 2 D&D campaigns you were playing this week? Were they with the same group or different groups?
Different groups, yes.
Wow,
So,
you've got it together.
Can I just say I love the idea of having this like back pocket twist to whatever like situation you find yourself in, like the X thing, because it means you meet a character and it's already interesting, and then you have that whole like daytime TV soap, like like oh no,
oh my
Liv,
God, I can't
you
believe
are
this.
the father.
The lights swoop around and then land. You know what I'm doing here. You know.
Yeah, totally.
Can you chat, everyone in chat? Can we just check that you know what Lolies is doing? No. I think everyone knows what you're doing, Lolies.
They like they're still, and then there's something dramatic happens, so they all move around, and then they just still
like
on
link.
a spotlight, like the weak.
So when you say they, you mean the lights, not like
Right.
the cast. The cast is all like running around the set.
They do a little salsa.
Go.
I mean, I think that'd be fun actually, having just people running around the set. Like the lights stay still, but the people run around.
What if
It's just
as
musical
like
chairs.
as like a special reward for doing something on Dicebreaker, you get to become our spotlights, and we just get people to like hold a flashlight and just run around, hold it over each member of the cast as something happens.
Is that a reward? I don't
Yeah.
know.
That sounds like a reward.
It sounds like a
Cool.
cracking reward. Please email
Is there a
us.
reward for-
Please email
You
us
can
at
shine a light.
podcast@dicebreaker.com.
You shine a really bright light right in someone's face.
Exactly.
That's something to look
Probably
forward to.
mine. Probably
Yeah.
mine. For making you do
Moment
that.
to shine.
look, it's voluntary, all right? Like, it's...
A voluntary reward?
No, you don't have to redeem a reward, you know?
Like
It's a reward so good, we're already backing out of it.
Oh my God.
Anything else?
I love that. Yeah, I love.
Mhm.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, it's all good. But I will say as well, the moment where it was revealed that that person was my character's ex, it wasn't as dramatic and cool as it sounds. It was just mostly my character slamming another character against the wall and just being like, "Oh my God, I don't know what to do. Oh my God, please! Oh my God, help me! Oh God." Yeah. Apart from that, we also played on Wednesday. We played Monster Hearts 2.
We did.
An RPG. Yeah.
I was part of that. It's the only thing I've played this week.
I also was there, and that was also the only thing I played.
Great.
We're good. We're good at this.
We're good at our jobs. Tell us
Um,
about running Monster Hearts 2, Liv.
Okay. Why? Don't mind if I do.
Or
Yeah.
MCing, should I say.
Oh yes, emceeing Master of Ceremonies was me.
Liv
yeah, it was-
rapped the entire time.
I did. It was top tier. I was going to try and make a rhyme there, but I couldn't think of one. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Monster Hearts 2 is like a high school drama RPG, but also everyone's secretly a monster.
Mhm.
Ooh, as you could probably tell from the
Spoilers.
I know. I'm sorry.
No point playing it now. No
I
point.
know. Wrong, Rogan. Yeah, no, you get to, if you'll player characters get to select a skin, which can be like a vampire or a ghost or whatnot. Yeah, your character that character gets to do different things depending on what skin they have and what their kind of places in the school and blah blah blah. And yeah, it was a very it was very fun to put together, but also, especially with Powered by the Apocalypse as a system, it's more about the RPG kind of aspect, like the role-playing aspect of things, rather than like a combat aspect. So basically all I had to do was just let everyone loose to just like talk to each other and make connections with the NPCs and with each other, and it was honestly pretty easy. I didn't do much.
That's really nice. I like systems. I'm not like the super like systems heavy kind of person when I play. Like I've played D&D, but it took me a while to get into the rhythm because you're like, wait a minute, what can I do again? Which like, because I've not played it very much, kind of drew me away from it a little bit. So I like the appeal of role playing games where people are just free to roam.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think that's one of the like reasons that Powered by the Apocalypse is the system is run on. And I think one of the reasons it's so popular is it literally frames itself as whenever you want to do this, follow these steps. So you just got like a little menu in front of you. It's like, what do I want to do? I'll do this, and then you just follow it, you know. So it makes it, rather than being like memorize all these rules and then all these spells and then all your stats and all that kind of stuff and then have it all on like 4 sheets. It makes it a lot more approachable to just be like, well, I want my character to do this. Well, that sounds like doing this, so I'll do that. And then it's a lot easier to sort of jump into doing something interesting. So like one of the examples we had was, one of them was just like whenever you try to keep your cool. So there were moments where like I wasn't trying to achieve anything, but I was rolling on myself to see if my character kept their cool, because it was fun to see if they actually would like start storming off or like, you know, which ended up like in this huge blow up between mine and Loli's character. But I think
spoilers.
Well, look, that's all I'm gonna say. But
to find out what the blow was,
exactly,
not available now.
We did an all queer playthrough of Monster Hearts 2.0. With Liv running. It is available on the channel right now. We streamed it yesterday as of this going out, which would have been the 24th.
No, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I think
Wednesday.
I got the days mixed up on the day as well. I thought it was Thursday when we did it.
You were like, podcast tomorrow, and it was like, no.
So the 23rd. Yeah, as part of Pride Month. But go have a check out of that, because genuinely, probably one of the best RPG playthroughs we've ever put out on Dicebreaker. It was so good. Not to like rag on Matt, because he was the only one not there.
He supported us from the sidelines. It was fine.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was great.
Good. But yeah, I guess
it was very sexy, wasn't it?
Well, another dummy user in chat says the only disappointment was that no one got to do a proper sex move. So
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, Ross,
just to
for
rewind
you-
for Ross, yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? Was my internal reaction there?
Well, so it's a game about teenagers, right? And like teenagers have sex. Shocking, I know. But there
Well,
is
everyone was in the
Disgusting,
senior
really.
class. in this run.
disgusting. There, like, if your characters ever have sex, then you get to like do a special move.
Such a silly
I mean,
name.
obviously. Obvious.
Look, we've all got our special moves. Oh
no.
god. But yeah, so like for example, the Ghost, which is the one of the playbooks that we were using. I won't say who because we were being secretive about it during the Let's Play. But they got to like share a secret between them whenever that happened, or like, you know, some people like, you know, pull strings on people because maybe they're a bit of a heartbreaker, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's like it's a system that's really interesting because it's built from the ground up to be like, this is about kind of quite volatile teens all interacting with each other in like a quite dangerous environment because they don't know what's going to happen with the sort of like their inner self kind of thing. But yeah, I had a great time. I had a lovely time. I think that's probably one of my favorite Powered by the Apocalypse RPGs I've played so far. Because I'm not a massive fan of the system in general. Like I think it's fine. But that was probably one of my favorite iterations of it. I don't know how much PBTA stuff you guys have played.
Not much.
I don't know.
Lollies, you
I
were in
only
the-
ever play RPGs on Dicebreaker, so if I've played it on Dicebreaker, that's your answer.
Yeah, you have technically played Powered by the Apocalypse before because we played World of Wrestling,
Right.
which was also Powered. It's you know when you've got
I
like,
didn't really enjoy
Is
that.
is World of
Moves.
Wrestling the one where it's like a WrestleMania?
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
I've played that.
That's
Okay.
really
Okay.
fun. Or at least like the theme's very fun. Again,
That was like one of the first RPGs I ever played.
Yeah,
it was
one of my
live on
first.
stage, and I was like, "This
Yeah.
isn't
oh
terrifying."
my god.
Yeah, what a time to learn.
what was your wrestler?
My wrestler, because this was in Canada, I was like, "Well, I've got to British it up, right? I've got to take advantage of the. If I've got nothing else going for me, I've got an accent." So I was like, I was Mad Merlin, and so Merlin of Arthurian fame. I was like, what's he doing these days? Well,
What's he up to?
he's a pro wrestler, of course. So
That's great.
that was who I was.
I'm imagining he's just like fallen off the wagon.
He is he's past his best, let's put it that way.
Oh
Funny
Christ. Yeah, that's another Let's Play that you can catch on youtube.com/Dicebreaker, the channel that you're already watching.
That was...
Oh,
Oh, no, that wasn't. Never mind.
what were you going to say, sorry?
I think that was like one of the first RPGs that I did on the channel where I wore a full costume.
One
cool.
of-
And I was
I don't-
so nervous.
I don't think it was
about
the
it.
first, but it was definitely one of. I
Yeah,
think
it
if
was
there's
one of them.
if there's going to be any RPG where you wear a costume, it's going to be a wrestling one, right?
Yeah, I wore like...
Lollies, what was the get up?
I wore a long pink wig, and then I had like this pink leotard thing, and like leopard print shorts.
Sure.
I think I mean you
like
could only
all
really
wrestlers.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
wrestlers we know.
Ross, you've seen wrestling before, right?
you could see. I mean you could only see from like here up, so really you could only see.
With
Right.
the leopard print shorts for confidence. Like that was
Well,
like
I mean, I was in the office, so I didn't really want to like a leotard is quite, you know,
Sure.
it would show a lot, so I
It's all-
had to
it's all
wear.
right, it's a real power move, just going into like a leotard.
Just so you're aware,
I was nervous enough as it was
Yeah.
with the shorts on.
just so you're aware, by the way, like we called that Let's Play Spine Breaker.
Oh,
Wow.
So like that is the vibe we were giving off, that like bright hair metal 80s vibe. But yeah, I had a great time with that. So sorry, back to where we were. Powered by the Apocalypse. It's good sometimes. Lolies, you've not been up to much games wise this week, but is there anything interesting that's been
No.
happening?
I haven't played board games. I've barely played video games even. I'm trying to think what I've done in the last week. I've been watching football because
Okay,
obviously
yeah.
the Euros are on and Germany's gone through.
They have.
Mhm.
And
It
shout
was,
out,
oh
shout
my
out to
God.
Neuer for the rainbow protests as well when
Yes.
playing Hungary as well.
Yeah, because
Oh,
they
yeah.
wanted to like light up the stadium, didn't they? And they got rejected for it.
UEFA
But
had a
Noya wore,
cry.
yeah, Noya wore like a little I don't know what those arm bracelet things are
Armbands,
called, which
just
was
armbands,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, armbands. So yeah, that was great because they wait, what was the first match they played against Portugal?
Mhm.
They drew. No, against France, we lost. We lost against France. That was the first match, and I was like, right, off to a bad start. And then against against somebody else.
Poor Hungary.
You've been watching the football, have you? Yeah.
Against Portugal, we
This is
got
riveting.
4-2 was the score, I think. And I was like, and I think I bet on that one. I won't.
I had
talk
an
about
onion
betting.
attached to my belt, which was, of course, the fashion at the time.
But we won against. We won against Portugal, and then against Hungary was the last match, and Hungary in the
draw,
first
right?
10 minutes went 1-up.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my god, if we lose this, we might not make it through, because Portugal were also playing, so it was also dependent on what Portugal were doing in their match against France, I think. And it was just very, very stressful. And then like Germany didn't score the second point until after the first half, I believe. And then as soon as they scored, Hungary scored again, so it was 2-1 all of a sudden. And it was like, oh my god, I'm freaking out, because if we don't win this, Germany's gonna go out again. Because the last time they played was like the Worlds a couple of years ago, and it was the first year. I've been wanting like a Germany jersey for years and years and years, but obviously jerseys are expensive.
Yeah.
And I bought a Germany jersey finally for the Worlds a couple of years ago, and they went out after the first round, and I went like, it was after being like the world champions a couple of years before. And then they went out, and I was like, oh my god, are you serious? Like, what? And also the other thing is,
burn the jersey.
I was working a Big Potato at the time, and we had a what are those called when you like pick a team out of a hat?
Pool, something.
Yeah, Paul.
You know the thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I really, really wanted Germany, and I happened to draw Germany, and everyone was like, oh, it's a fix. And then they went out straight away, and I was like, I can't believe the one year I drew Germany and I actually bought the jersey, they went out. So I was really scared that was happening against sweepstakes. Thank you very much, chat.
Sweet.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So anyway, I was really scared that was happening
Sweeper
again. And in the end, though, they drew 2-2, and Germany's gone through, and they're playing England on Tuesday.
I was waiting for that. They are playing England on Tuesday, so I think that's gonna be quite
Yeah.
I live with an English person, and so one of us is going to be very upset on Tuesday.
Germany have got a real good track record for knocking England out of tournaments. So...
They do, but they've also been playing like bad.
Yeah. So like I was saying, because I was like chatting with my family about it, because I've been watching as well, and like I think genuinely, out of all the options we had, Germany are probably the best chance we've got, because like they've had the most mixed results so far. So
yeah, they're playing bad, and like I don't know if you saw that game, but like I like Sané, I'd never seen him play because I don't watch football outside of like the Worlds and Euros, and Löw didn't take him to the Worlds a few years ago, so I hadn't seen him play there. And all I heard the whole time was like, Sané's so good, Sané's so good. And I was watching him play against Hungary, and I was like, you are the worst I've ever seen. Please go away. And I was like, please take him off the pitch. He was just so bad. Yeah. So anyway, that's something I wanted to say about Sané. That's pretty much how I've been. I mean, that was only one match, but it feels like that's the biggest thing I did.
It was a real emotional journey, is what you've told us.
It was.
Love that you're having a good time. That's what I love. Oh, can I also mention about, so the last time I worked in, we had a sweepstakes as well for the Worlds or whatever it was.
The World Cup. Can we
World
just... What's Worlds?
I don't know. I assume.
Sounds like a Counter-Strike competition.
I don't know. So we did the sweepstakes, and it was a very small team. So the winner was France, I think. The person who drew that was the office dog, Luna.
Shout out to Luna.
So she won, but her owners donated it to a greyhound trust, which is like,
that's nice, but they should have bought Luna something really good.
They should have bought Luna. Yeah, I would have.
And what did Luna get?
Yeah.
Luna's got her own hedge fund now, so
Luna's invested in several different properties. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I once again have not been playing much this week. I have played Monster Hearts, obviously. I have been watching the football a little bit. Every time a match is on, I'm like, oh crap, yeah, a match on, isn't it? And it's already like halfway through, and I'm just like completely forgotten. But I've actually been, and I can talk about this because I'm not planning to sell it. But I've been learning how to make video games recently. I've been like making a little digital card game, which is quite fun. And it's weird because I literally saw. Kurt McKean has just started doing a like article series about like learning how to use Unity as well. So this is it. This is where all of the game journalists just start making their own games. This is when it begins. But yeah, I've been using Construct, which is like a little. It literally runs in a browser. Like it's really cool. So I've literally just been like saving my game to like Google Drive, and I can like do it on my laptop or do it on my PC or wherever I'm at. And I've got like a friend of a friend who does pixel art who's gonna just sort of like collab as well. It's really fun. It's like it's good to. I have so many hobbies that I've ended up monetizing. It's good to have something where I'm just like, no, I'm just doing this because I want to, and I don't have to do it for anyone. What?
Oh, chat just reminded me that I played Tetris 99 yesterday.
You did play Tetris 99.
Nice. Tetris 99 is so hard to win. I think it's like impossible to win.
Yeah.
Well,
I played it
got
with Johnny was streaming it.
Yeah.
Statistically, it's not impossible. Fine.
I mean, that's technically the same as Fortnite, but you know,
it's fine. So we'll move on after we've had our nice little chat about all the games that we've been playing. And this is going to be a weird one because this is one of the first times. I don't know if this has happened before, but this is probably this is the first time that we've ever been on a podcast with none of the people who write the news, and we're going to talk about the news.
we're going to do our best.
So this is fun.
We've got no me and we've got no Matt. So as you can probably expect, there's been a lot about the new Magic the Gathering set that's coming out, which is based on Dungeons and Dragons. Hold for Liv's applause. So there. For those of you who are just tuning in, it's your first episode of this, or if you have not watched us in a while, we used to sort of like give like a quite dry reading about all of the news stories that have been happening, but now we just kind of like, you know, condense it down into the most interesting things that have been happening recently. And like pretty much our entire homepage has just been Magic the Gathering D&D, Magic the Gathering D&D, Magic the Gathering D&D, so we can't really talk about anything else. But for a quick update, so basically the Forgotten Realms is going to be the setting for the next Magic the Gathering set. If you've not played Magic the Gathering before, there's like a sort of a new set like I think it's like 3 or 4 times a year. So the last one was Strixhaven, which was like a sort of magical school theme. Ooh, what could this be about? No turfs. It could also be like there was like a Theros one, which was like ancient Greek myths, but not. And this one is set in the lore of Dungeons and Dragons, which is I think is like an obvious crossover for a number of reasons. One, they're both owned by the same company, so like it's pretty easy. But D&D have been putting out sort of setting source books based around the Magic the Gathering planes for a little while now. So there was like a Theros book. There was the Guilds of Ravnikar, I believe it's called, which was also a setting book as well. But the fun thing about this new set is they have these cards called dungeons, where you actually have like, so they're kind of like the saga cards, if anyone's played with those before, where you have like a little token, and every turn you basically like, okay, all right, look, okay, here's Magic 101. What is a saga card? Because Loli's just shaking her head. The saga card is a card that instead of it just having an instant effect, it triggers a new effect every turn until it kills itself. Not kills itself, discards itself. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sorry, that went a lot darker than I was expecting. So like you'll have like the first effect, then the second, then the third, and then usually they have 3 or whatever. This works in the same way where like you move the little token every time to get a new effect, but you have a branching path because it's a dungeon. So you get to choose, oh, am I going to go left and get this card effect, or I'm going to go right and get this card effect and stuff like that. And then once you get to the bottom of the dungeon, you get a cool reward. So the dungeons that they have based based on the amount of cards they usually put in these sets. But there is the Tomb of Annihilation. Liv?
Good name.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
you know that one?
confirmed.
Yeah. Dungeon of the Mad Mage, Liv?
Also, yep. Also, that's a thing. I have a screen that I think is to do with that.
Good,
Cool.
excellent. And then the last one I actually do know, which is the Lost Mine of Fandelver, which is the D&D starter set. It's the little like box that comes with all the stuff you need to play. So that's interesting. They've got like a new keyword called venture, and you get to like complete the stuff. And there's like cards that obviously like everything in the set will be based around that kind of. So the thing in Strixhaven last time was lessons. So you could sort of like learn, which was the card effect, and you basically get to take a card from out of the game and put it into your hand. So this is like the new keyword that they're playing around with in this set, which is interesting. Yeah, exactly. You have to do like a matrix thing whenever you're like. But yeah, so there's a few things that have been supplementary to that. So, for example, some of the D&D cards will have stat blocks and adventure hooks for use in the RPG. So, like, there is a Flumph card.
I love a flump.
Lodies, you remember Flumphs?
Yeah, I remember.
You don't look very
Are
excited
you
about
waiting
this
for a
at all.
reaction? No. Love it.
Yeah,
Also little kind of jellyfish-ish looking guys who fly around and then also turn different colors based on
Based on their mood.
They
They're like
fog
mood rings.
poison, yeah, as well.
Mhm.
So they're fun. Like for example, there's a card for them. And you have a stat block on the back.
To be honest, I think I'd be into this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll have to find out.
I know I'm not very excited, but like
I know
that.
I've been like
Everyone's-
falling asleep throughout this entire thing. Genuinely, I'm really excited about it.
I think I'd like it.
It's got like a lot of nods to kind of classic characters and stories and like items and things. So like if you're a big D&D lore buff, I think there's definitely going to be a few things in there for you. Liv, I'm assuming that's you. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, like Forgotten Realms lore is not something that I am particularly well versed in. It's more the modern stuff I've been embroiled with. But I know that they have a lot of funny names. That's what I have to offer.
But yeah, there's also going to be like a sort of with every sort of release of a new D&D thing now, they'll put out like short stories and all that kind of stuff. So like they'll build on the lore and all that kind of thing. I don't know how much of that is going to be like something that affects the world of D&D itself. Like, is there going to be like cross reading where you have to like read an ebook on the Magic the Gathering site to understand like your source book that you're playing D&D with or something? I don't know. It's all just a corporate nightmare.
I think I saw on D&D Beyond that there is a Strixhaven source book that's coming soon.
Oh really?
So,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. There's a lot of things going on then.
I like the idea that the subtitle for the new release, new cycle, is just corporate nightmare.
Yeah,
That's
it might
that's
as
the
well
subtitle
be.
for it.
Yeah, like it's the new D&D Magic the Gathering set. Subtitle: Hasbro owns your house now. One thing that apparently is something that people were asking is no, there's not going to be any Critical Role stuff in the cards. Okay. But one thing that's more exciting, which I think everyone here will be interested in, which I think we briefly talked about in the Dicebreaker Slack channel, which is thank you for highlighting that for me in the Google Doc there, ladies. Deimos Academy with designers including Banana Chan, who made oh god, what was it called? The RPG that we played on the channel, whose name has slipped through my head. Jiangxi,
Yes.
which is a game about sort of like Chinese American immigrants running a restaurant during the day and then like fighting vampires during the night, which is very cool.
Has it got that really beautiful cover art?
Incredible
by,
cover art, yeah.
It's
Very,
Quanchai
very cool
Maria, I think.
exactly,
yeah.
So yeah, Banana Chan has been releasing like a new game like every month. Like it's incredibly
Banana Chan's
impressive.
been busy.
Yeah, been very, very busy. But this one sounds incredibly cool. This is called Deimos Academy. It is a Stephen King inspired horror RPG that is
I'm
played
sold.
inside of a coloring book.
Yeah,
which-
yeah.
It's like they said, "Lolies, would you like an RPG?" Just as the title of the book. But this is really cool. So a horror RPG which takes place, at the boarding school that all the player characters attended when they were children. Banana-chan explained that.
Is it like Layers of Fear? Is that like?
Yeah, sure.
Like...
It seems to be it vibes, right? Because it's that whole like returning to a childhood's like trauma thing. But apparently players will use like a paper doll to represent their character in the game, and you're able to color them in to give them a distinct look. And then the players will make their way through the boarding school, and they'll have to roll for certain fears whenever they enter particular rooms. There's going to be like sensitivity consultants and stuff like that to make sure that it's not too like damaging or triggering, and have the you know the relevant content warnings and all that kind of stuff. But it sounds fascinating. Like I'm all for games that are using like really weird and wacky ways of like interpreting RPG rules, like
yeah,
Dread...
it's GM-less as well, which is cool.
Exactly, yeah. Like it almost feels like it's got that kind of like choose your own adventure book style, kind of like driven narrative through a thing that you're flipping through, kind of thing, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, like I love games that are like, you know, like Dread, you play with Jenga Tower, or like there's like a solo journaling thing where you have to flip a coin and then do a little drawing thing before the coin lays down, which was part of Zine Quest and all that kind of stuff.
What's the one with all the candles and you
10 candles.
10 candles, yeah. I just didn't know how many. I was like, I know it's not 16 candles.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of the one with all the candles. So like I'm all
I was like, I work in marketing. So I was like, great.
Look, you don't work for the marketing department of that RPG. That's all that matters. So I'm all for stuff like this. I'm really, really interested to see how this comes out. But yeah, those are two of the biggest stories that have been on the website recently. There is other stuff on there as well, including Mian's opinion on Critical Role Campaign 2's finale, which Liv had some thoughts on as well. We've got Empartlo back to discuss more Warhammer. We've got Chase on Ark, the RPG that we've been playing on the channel recently by Mementos. Mian has done an interview with the Stonewall designer, which is a game about LGBT riots. And we've also got celebrity D&D games. I don't know what the context of that is. It just says celebrity D&D games, so look out for that.
Just read what you see.
But I'm gonna hand over to you, Lolies, because technically Ross was your special guest. You invited him on, so I would like you to explain to him. The special game that we've concocted.
I've already explained. It's fine. Right. So the special game for this week is obviously because it's podcast.
I didn't read what you sent me.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
It's a good thing we're explaining it then, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what's happening.
It's fine. So obviously because this is technically a podcast, we can't just show each other board games and then try and guess what they are. That would be stupid anyway, because you could just read what it is.
What's this game I have in my hand?
What's this board game?
Well, it says Gloomhaven, so...
What we're going to be doing is we're all going to just pick a few board games and just vaguely describe the cover and see if the other people can guess what game it is. This may or may not work. We've never tried this before. As I'm explaining it, I kind of feel like this could be really dull, but also this could be hilarious. So
here's the rules though, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna grab a popular board game, like you can just search on board game.
I've got one.
Like try and get one that most people would have heard of.
Sure.
You are then gonna describe to us the cover art of the board game with a twist. You cannot say any of the nouns that you're describing. So imagine it like, you know, like a sort of monikers or articulate style thing. So like, for example, if I had like a picture of a train, I would have to say it's like a box on wheels that runs on metal lines, for example.
Wow.
So it has to be as vague as physically possible, and then the first person to get it will get an arbitrary point that doesn't mean anything.
Okay, damn, everyone in chat is saying, is it camel up?
Yeah, I knew you would do that, ladies. I knew
I was
you would.
gonna do it.
And you would say, "Oh, it looks really ugly and stupid."
I hate it.
I was gonna do it as a throwaway one, but they've all ruined it now. So I hope you're happy with yourselves at home. 'Cause you've ruined my
Ross,
fun.
Loli's hates Camel Up.
No.
No,
He loves Camel Up.
I
Lolis hates
love
the
Camel
second
Up.
edition artwork.
Second edition Camel Up artwork sucks. It makes no sense.
I'm not going to argue with you on that. I feel like
Probably for the
Too
best.
scared to.
I'm a guest here. I don't want to.
I mean, we
want to
might be
burn
here
this
for a
bridge.
while.
I don't want to burn this bridge.
Ross, like, if you
You're
if
entitled
you
to your
were able
opinion.
to burn this bridge, then you would just find the 20 underneath it that have already been burned when Loli starts talking about Camel Up second edition.
Can I just ask though, Ross, just honest opinion? Do you think first or second edition is better? I won't go into it any further than your answer.
I'm thinking like I prefer the cardboard pyramid to the plastic pyramid. I think I'm a first edition. I think I'm a first edition guy. Like
I prefer the cardboard.
that
as
was
well,
like
thank you.
we were there at the start, right? And all these new fans getting in on the second edition, they don't know. They don't know what it was like.
I
Well, you
had Camel
got-
Up before it was even came out in 2014.
Right.
You
or
got
whenever it
in on
came
the
out.
ground floor.
We were in on the
Like some
ground
kind of
floor.
pyramid scheme or something.
We were there in Egyptian
Egypt.
times. We were, like, back
We
in
were
the
there
old
when the
days.
camels were actually racing.
You know, the camels were down actually. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was camels get down back in the day, but the man decided that was. that wasn't
It used to be
appropriate.
horse down, but now it's camel up.
Horsing down with Alex Lolies. Right. So, has anyone got a board game cover
Yes.
ready to roll? Lolies, have you gotten something that isn't Camel Up?
Yes.
Do you want
I
to
have
start?
like 3 games ready, so I'm
perfect.
ready.
Perfect.
Okay.
Cool.
So,
I'm
there
gonna
are
close my eyes so I can really get into it.
Yeah, I missed.
on the cover, on the front cover, which is I'm describing,
Yes.
is there's 4.
Uh-huh.
What's a noun? Is a noun an item?
The
Like
name of
dog.
the thing.
Yeah, it's a name.
A
Okay, so as long
noun
as
is
it's not
straight from memory here. A noun is a word that describes something, such as a person, place, thing, or idea. In
There
a
you go.
sentence,
Oh, no, wait,
nouns
let's
can
point this
play the
way.
role of subject, direct object, indirect object, subject complement, object complement, oppositive, or adjective. If you just
Wow.
want
That
more,
was all from
Mhm.
Ross's brain.
For all
that-
from
that
his head.
was-
like a steel
Astounding.
trap, like a steel trap.
Right, so there are 4 human like you know where your eyes and your ears and everything are.
Yes. Okay.
That
What?
area, there's 4 of those.
Faces.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying
You're
to
just
say
helping
longer.
everyone else, Ross.
Yeah. I was just blown away by the description. I'm
They're
sorry.
quite faded. So imagine the opacity at about 30%, maybe less.
Okay.
Of those faces that we've already said.
Is it Camel Up
Those
second edition? It's not,
No.
right? Okay.
No, it could be, but it's not.
Okay.
And those are and those are like it's very like a movie poster, and then
Camel Up
those
second
are,
edition.
yeah, and then those are kind of like in the middle of the board, and then in the foreground you've got the main object of the game, and that's kind of where the action happens.
Is this
and-
like? I was gonna say, is this like nations?
No. The
Hmm.
color palette, I will tell you, is a sunset color palette, which some
This is-
people will appreciate.
This is Camel Up a second edition, Lolies. I don't know what to tell you.
No.
In my mind, all I can see is like one of the like. Do you ever see the website that's like awkward family portraits? And it's like a
Yeah.
picture of someone like semi-transparent with the family behind them. That's all I can see.
There's on the right. There, I don't want to tell you what the main object is because I think that'll really give it away. So I'm
Okay.
trying to describe around it. On the right, one of the characters of the game is atop an animal and is riding this animal and is holding a weapon, and they're shooting the weapon at somebody on the main object.
Coal Express.
Yeah.
Yes. He's the main object of trade.
I never would have got that.
Really?
I had no idea what was going on at all.
I didn't know there was 4 faded faces on it until I was just like examining it, and I was like, oh yeah.
When you said shooting, I was like, hold on.
Even the fact we mentioned Call Express earlier, I would never have got there.
That's why I picked it, because I was like, oh, that's a good one. Cool.
Okay.
Somebody else.
All right. I'll go. Okay. All right. Imagine, if you will. Again, it's a sort of sunsetty palette. There are lots of human things where eyes and ears and mouths and noses go.
Right.
And they're all sort of composite across the tableau of this box. There's one that has a very large like mouth bottom. There's one that's made out of hard shiny ground stuff.
Mouth bottom.
Mouth bottom.
Is it mouth bottom the chin or the lip?
I couldn't possibly say.
Okay.
Right slap bang in the center of the box, there is.
Speak out.
No.
Is it Marvel Champions?
It is Marvel Champions.
Oh, okay, good job.
It's a Thanos chin. It's like a Thanos chin.
Exactly.
Thanos chin. I was like, yeah.
A mouth bottom.
Mouth bottom.
It's at the bottom.
I mean, that would technically be a face bottom, surely.
Yeah, surely a face bottom would work. But it's specifically right at the bottom of the mouth.
That's literally where one of those chin bums
butt chins,
lives as well.
Chin bum.
I was trying to figure out how to say man in lycra for Spider-Man.
I don't
say man in lycra.
I'm looking at it. Where are you seeing the chin?
Thanos, right on the right hand side.
Oh, on the right. Oh, okay.
Where are you seeing the chin?
Like me, the chin.
All right, Liv.
Okay.
It's currently 1 point to both me and Ross.
Okay.
Not to get, showy off you or anything, but
oh yeah, no.
Me and Ross are currently crushing it. You guys.
Can we end the game here? I feel like I'm never gonna get to this level again.
Okay, this one has nothing to do with human. Human is a noun, which somebody in the chat pointed out.
Because we weren't describing humans; we were describing faces.
Okay.
So you can say things that aren't the word you're describing, basically.
Okay, fine. There are no human things with eyes and ears and mouths and whatnot.
Okay.
The color palette is kind of a gloomy, like
Gloomhaven.
No.
It's got peeps on it. Got peeps on the box.
Strong.
That would be a faux pas on my part. It is quite gloomy. It's kind of a blue hue that's going on, maybe with a little bit of bronze mingled in there. There is a track on which
Camelot.
Nope.
Ticket to Ride.
Great Western Trail.
No, take away the word track. It's leading you astray. It's
the track is leading us astray. Got it.
Oh
yes. Don't think it's a thing on which you would travel in possibly a line. You would travel on there in some kind of vehicle. Speaking of vehicles, there is a vehicle traveling up that thing, and it's slightly old.
Fast and the Furious, the board game.
No.
There is one. Back to the Future, the board game. There is one.
No.
Downforce.
Not Downforce, no. The
Rallyman GT.
No, it focus less on the vehicle.
Okay. That's the only thing you've told us about.
I know. I'm trying to.
There's a track, but don't focus on that. And there's a vehicle on it, but don't think about the vehicle
though.
It's gonna be my turn soon, and I'm gonna eat my words. I'm gonna eat my words.
No, it's not roads and boats. Okay, so it's in a very old-fashioned vehicle, 1920s era, probably traveling up a thing.
Ticket to Ride Europe. To Ride.
No, it's
Eldritch Horror.
Flam Rouge.
Arkham Horror.
No, but I feel like you're close. You're warm. Also
Mansions of Madness. The Betrayal at House on the Hill.
No, but close. Okay, so it is heading up to one of those. No, it's
Arkham Horror, the card game.
No, it's heading up. It's heading up to one of those that you mentioned. The big house, the big fancy house. It's heading up to one of those.
Madness.
No.
The trail house on the hill. Did you say
No.
that?
Yeah, I said that.
This is more niche probably than I thought. Maybe. Okay.
How many spooky house games are there?
There's one that I thought was quite good.
Mysteria?
Yes, it's Mysterious.
It is very blue. It is very blue.
It's
That's
very
good.
blue.
That is good.
That is a
Okay.
good one. That's a good shot. I never, to be honest, I never really. I know there's a big house. I never really realized there was like a car and a road and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something you would take in.
That's a really
That's
good
a blue
shout.
box.
That was a really good shout.
Thank you.
That was good.
Strong.
All right, Ross.
Indication.
You're up. It's currently 2-1.
All right. I think this one might be a quick one.
All right.
Okay, you ready, everyone?
Gloomhaven.
Hey, hands on buzzers. No.
Hands on bosoms. What?
Buzzers. On buzzers. You need to
All right,
check your
ladies and
you need
gentlemen, hands on bosoms.
you need to check your inner monologue. Is all I will say. We're on different pages here. All right. So we've got quite a muted palette
Okay.
to the cover, quite a muted palette, but it is colourful. And there's lots of patterns going on.
Patchwork.
Azul. Oh,
It is patchwork.
Yes!
Told you it was quick. I told you it was going to be a quick one. Told you it was going to be a quick one.
Oh, this is not fair.
Back around to me. Back around to me. Okay, this is the one I'm doing. It's a very blue box. Blue and black.
Mora.
And there is a shape in the distance that is in up high past the clouds.
Yeah.
You know, up there where the stars live.
Star Realms.
No.
Okay.
I actually picked this because I wanted you to think it was Star Realms.
Oh.
I didn't know there was like a hidden betrayer mechanic in there.
Twilight Imperium.
Always is. No. And
Cosmic
there's
Encounter.
there's a little
It's the one called Eclipse.
shiny.
That's more spacey.
Yeah, there's a little shiny that's poking out from behind the thing that's up there beyond the clouds.
Okay.
And in the foreground there are two figures.
One Night
figures-
Werewolf.
No, two figures like us, and we're wearing some kind of special clothing that you need to survive in this environment.
The crew.
And yay!
Mhm. Yes.
The crew.
You
yeah.
tied now? You and Ross? Wheels?
I think Wheels is on 3
I think it's
or 2.
3-2 to me.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you two want to show up at any point, that's fine as well.
Oh.
It's
Oh, we're
because
here.
it's because it's when it's not my turn to describe. You all are really bad at describing. So I
Exactly.
Oh
can't.
yeah.
Exactly. Me and
Okay.
Lynn's
Okay.
putting the wood.
Angel Beat suggested Camel Up After Dark. Right, I think it's me next, right?
Yeah, Wheels can't win this one. Let's go.
Okay.
Or can
Right.
he?
I don't know.
Very, very vibrant.
Azul.
No, lots of colours. There are 4 things with
Roots.
legs and arms in each of the corners. 1 in each corner, rather.
Mhm.
One is like the middle of your leg deep in straight line water. Flowing
What?
straight line water.
I've literally no idea what that series of words means.
Flowing
I
straight line
understand.
water.
I
The
understand it.
wiggles. Okay, yeah, ladies good, so that's
I
fine.
understand. It's fine.
In the bottom right hand side, one of the figures is wielding both a long wooden
I said-
rod.
So it's not
and
Roots. It's definitely not Roots.
It's root.
I said that
that.
before I got
Yeah.
really blown away by the wiggly knee water river thing.
Mhm.
Oh right, I didn't hear. Damn, you guys are too good.
Okay.
I was like, figure in each corner,
Yeah.
water,
Vibrant.
vibrant. Yeah, vibrant.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I will say, I did literally post a picture of Root like yesterday online.
Oh,
well,
cheating.
that's
Honestly,
maybe
yeah.
maybe a little easy for me that one.
Yeah, cheating.
I actually wouldn't know the root artwork because unfortunately, but yeah.
Okay, Liv, you're up, right?
Me? Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. All right. So this artwork is also very vibrant, lots of different colors. Lots.
Brazil.
No.
I'm just gonna keep trying. One day it'll be right.
It is very busy.
Where's Wally?
No. What? Is that a board game?
No, should be.
Yeah, that would be fun. Okay, there are a lot of places where you would sell things. It's
Quartz Quedlinburg.
Yes, good job, Loli. We did it.
Nice.
Sorry,
Nice.
someone's drilling through my wall. I got a little distracted now.
Oh
Shit,
yeah,
shit.
you're
Laying in the excuses now.
I
to
would've
what's the
got
next
it- I
game.
wouldn't have got it either way. I'm just saying
Thank you
I'm a
for
little
picking a
bit-
game I'll get, Liv.
It's all right.
I
I trust you to do
appreciate
the same for me. No, I'm kidding. Ross?
All right. So it's out. There's this an outside scene
Mhm.
with a liquid thing moving down the middle, and some anthropomorphic figures
Yeah.
in the
One Night
scene,
Ultimate Werewolf?
and there is some texture of a natural kind around the edges. There are
Yeah.
some materials
Like-
which are more solid than liquid that are in there.
Like anything.
Some may say there is a cascade occurring in the image.
Parks.
Yes, correct.
Oh, Parks.
Yeah.
You said Parks as if you were going to carry on. I was like, "Ooh."
I was like thinking, I was like, is that the whole name? Yeah, that's the whole name. I will stop there.
Oh, okay.
Loli's
Yeah,
coming
I
in
got
with the
two.
late surge. So that's what are the scores? Liv's got 0.
Oh, God.
I believe
Nice.
me and Ross are on 3 and Loli's is on 2.
Okay, one more round.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to pick another game because I don't want.
Wheels can do the last one just as a tiebreaker. Let's just do Wheels does the tiebreaker and he gives the clues, which means he can't win.
Aha. Very cool.
Actually, Liv could just do it, right? Because Liv's out.
I could pull it back.
Wow, not even giving her an opportunity to redeem herself. You're just like, well, you're out. You're out.
Liv, you basically didn't even turn up. Do you want to just...
Fine. You know what? Yeah, I'll do it. All right.
No. I'll do. Let's just do a round.
Yeah, let's do
a
a full
round.
round.
All right.
Okay, hold on. Let me just pick a game.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Upon the cover of this game, it is quite a blue game once again. There are 4.
Horror.
What?
Eldritch Horror.
No, there are 4 figures stood, and that's kind of it. There are 4 figures, and
The end.
there are in the background,
Werewolf.
very far in the background, there's the places in which people carry out
Members
business
inhabit.
and also live.
Quadropolis.
No, that's a good guess though.
Hmm.
I mean, that's a great game. That's just what I meant with that.
Suburbia.
No, there is some vehicles in the sky, and
King of you.
no,
Okay.
and one of them goes and has-
Pandemic.
and-
Pandemic.
Pandemic. Oh,
Yes!
Oh, God,
Liv
it's
got it!
pandemic!
I did it!
We've got it.
it's
We've got it.
pandemic.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is pandemic.
Pandemic is pretty much just 4 people on the front.
As soon as the helicopter, I was like, oh my God.
Should have described the pandemic novel. There's a lady whose
That was a
arm is
different
4 times too small for her
Oh.
body.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
anyway.
wait, what?
Okay,
Yeah.
there's a pandemic like original story set in the pandemic universe that's been released as a novel. And
Is that by the Asmodee owned Aconite? Is
yes,
yes.
The cover is hilarious. I recommend you look at it.
I will have a little look at that.
So me next, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is everyone ready?
Yep.
Okay. Imagine, if you will, a scene is set.
In a world.
There are quite deep blues, but also there are some burning reds and oranges, contrasting against each other. It's got like a nice flat, kind of posterized art style.
Eldritch horror.
No, in the background there is a great big blue with dots of light.
Star Realms.
No, and in the corner, a large shape that is not straight but quite round instead, is glowing, but is not the kind of shape that you would see in the big blue that would light up the blue, but instead would rather only be visible when the blue is not lit up.
Eclipse.
Oh.
Yeah. Now there are 2 of those.
2.
Yeah.
Total eclipse of I don't know what this game is.
No.
Oh.
Mind.
Is it an exit game?
No.
Okay.
In the center, 4 quite a few figures wielding sharp, pointy sticks are currently entwined in a scuffle with a very large tube-shaped creature.
June.
Yes!
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah. Tube-shaped creature, of course.
I saved that for right at the end because that's going to be the big...
It's exactly how they did it in the book.
Oh my God, it's the tube-shaped creatures.
When you said big blue, I thought you meant water.
No, because there was a moon in the big blue.
That's what confused me.
Yeah.
I had absolutely nothing going on in my brain until I imagined like a Muppet-style sock puppet monster, and I was like, it's either a Tremors board game or it is June.
Okay, that puts
That's
you
very
in the
good.
lead, Ross.
Yeah.
Currently 4, 3, 2, 1. We've got a perfect set.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to win.
There's 2 left
Wow.
to guess.
Right.
Start
Come on then,
it.
Liv.
All
Lay it
right.
on us.
All
Give
right.
me another quacks. Go on.
No. I hope this one works. But we'll see. So this is quite monochromatic. In terms of
Micro Macro
Nyctophobia.
Crime City.
what?
Micro Macro Crime
Nyctophobia.
City.
No.
Two really good guesses. I was like, both of them. I was like, oh no.
Okay, so yeah, it's on a surface. And
On
Escape the dark
Mars.
castle.
What?
Escape the dark sector. Escape the dark castle.
No. Okay.
Also
There are
good guesses.
very good.
Okay.
There are several different items across this surface. Certain things include something that you would drink tea out of. There's also something that you would use to see things better. More
Sherlock Holmes
Clearly-
consulting detective.
Marco
Yes.
Polo. Oh,
Wheels got it.
Why? Why? Of course he was gonna get that.
I
As
don't
soon
know
as you said glasses, I knew it was that game, but I couldn't remember what it was called.
When you say monochromatic,
Yeah, one color.
one color, yeah, we
Oh, 'cause it's
immediately
green.
went black and white in our heads. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, never. Never. Don't do it. Think twice.
So, me and Ross are now tied for the
Yeah.
lead.
I'm giving
but Ross is
I'm
yet
giving the
to go.
clue. So you got a big chance here, Wheels. You got
Yeah.
a big chance.
Oh yeah.
All right, I have one in my mind palace.
I
I'm
thought you
gonna
were
share-
saying you have one in your mind palace. Like, yeah, I'm already celebrating. I did it. Woo.
Oh yeah. I
That too.
mean, I'm a winner just for being here with all of you. I'm
Exactly.
a winner. Too.
Oh,
Just taking
wow.
part.
All
For
right.
now, all right, for now, the real winner. So,
yeah. This is a big chance, Wheels. Don't mess it up. Okay, so
I want to stop Wheels from winning so
Same.
bad.
Well, time to shine
not
then.
gonna-
Can you make it so you're on a delay for Wheels? And Wheels
I'm like, I don't know how to give clues in a way that doesn't help Wheels, but helps you.
Okay, well, just to go like this and like
So I'm just
mouth
gonna,
it to us.
I'm just gonna do it so Wheels can't see.
Hey, whoa, Ross, what are you doing behind that hand there?
Okay, so the cover,
Yeah.
Board
Good
game.
start.
it's got a lot going on.
Oh,
It's got a lot going on.
Okay.
It's popping.
Oh, I'm Azul.
No,
I
I should have just done Azul, but it's not that. It is. It's got some science going on. It's like a feel, you know. It is. It's like it's got some neon vibes to it.
Oh.
It's like very stylish. You could imagine it was like a movie poster. There are creatures. Is that too descriptive? There's creatures that tie into what this is all about.
Wait.
What
One
was
Night
that, sorry?
Ultimate Werewolf. One Night Ultimate Werewolf?
No. It's not.
Nemesis.
They are something that existed a long time ago.
Oh.
Dino World.
Dinosaur Island.
Oh no, Wheels got it. You got it right.
Ah, well,
No.
good job, Wheels. We're very happy for you.
Sorry, I'm just great at guessing things. Sorry, gang. It's just, you come play with the big boys. That's what happens.
Well done, Wheels. Well done.
Thank you very much. Great clue giving, everyone. Great clue giving. That was one of the most competitive ones we've had so
Well,
far.
that's the problem though, because we're so good at clue giving.
Exactly.
That's
we're
why
too
you
good.
won.
Right.
Because all the rest of us are
Whereas
so
I'm
good
really
at it.
bad at it.
Terrible.
You're really
Yeah.
bad at it. Yeah.
No, that was fun. That was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that went a lot
GG,
better
everyone.
than I think everyone was expecting.
It was a little bit of an unknown. There were some real great descriptions in there. I very much enjoyed. I very much enjoyed not knowing what people were saying.
I'm still in awe at how quickly you got Marvel Champions just from big mouth bottom.
Mouth bottom.
Yeah, you
What
deserve
else
that
could
one.
it be? What else could it be?
I looked at the cover and it's like it's a very small bit of the cover.
Well, I was
don't
kind of
think I
working my
can-
way down.
Wow.
I was
Anyway.
expecting to.
I was like, it's
explain it all.
either like Jimmy Hill or it's Thanos. Like I don't know. I don't know that many people with big chins. That's all I had.
Yeah, it's true. Oh well. There's the crimson chin from Felio Parents.
Ah,
There's
of
another
course.
character for you. I don't know if there's a
Classic,
Felio
icon.
Parents board game. But there you go. So we are coming towards the end of this
Emails.
live podcast recording. Thank you, Lolies. It is time to read out some questions from the chat and also from any emails. We don't actually have any emails this week, so I will just make it very, very clear. If you would like to send us a question and you have either missed the live stream or maybe you thought of one after we were streaming and you want it and you're like, oh damn, I wish I'd asked them that. It's fine. All you have to do is send an email to podcast@dicebreaker.com. That's podcast@dicebreaker.com. We've got a couple of questions from the chat here in our little Google Doc, but we're still accepting questions from the chat, whether you want to ask something specific about Ross's board game photography or streaming, or if you want to ask just a general board game question, anything you like, pardon me, let us know and we will pick out our favorites from the chat. But we're going to start off with this first one, which is
I really enjoyed this one.
do you want to read this one out, ladies?
Yeah. It's a question from Apex Penguin
This
who
is for
asked
Ross.
this question. Yes, for Ross, asked towards the beginning of the stream actually. Is it hard to catch board games in the wild while doing photography?
So here's a little weird like segue for you. When I was at university studying film, I as like a weird project I gave myself is I wanted to do a mini like short film about the afterlife. So I spoke to a series of different people in the community who have opinions on it, and one of the people in the community was a psychic, and they'd gained fame by helping the police solve a case, right? And I interviewed this psychic about like reincarnation, the afterlife, and all that stuff. And they told me that they thought I was going to, within 5 years, this was about 15 years ago, within 5 years, I was going to be a wildlife photographer. So much like board games, it is that. I didn't see it that way before, but they obviously saw it the same way.
Is that
but
why
you
you've
did.
got so many plants in your flat?
I was just gonna say, yeah, you've created the wild.
Yeah. So my top
home.
tip is make sure you have some foliage you can hide behind.
Yeah.
So when
Excellent
you
tip.
can just have the little camera like snaps
Well,
that.
that's something they don't tell you about board games. They get really shy on camera, so you need to, you need to be
yeah,
nice
they really
and
do.
hidden.
They really do.
You have to like lay low for like a good couple of hours before like eventually one will like
Try and be
tumble over
very
next to you.
still.
Yeah.
Be very still.
If you think about it, it's a very voyeuristic job for board game photographer.
I mean, you're making it sound creepy now. That's,
I mean, we know.
spend
Yeah.
a lot
know
of
the
time in the
truth.
dark, looking like behind a light, just looking at stuff. Yeah, sure.
Let's see. The hardest part of it for me would be like seeing a mother board game like abandon their baby board game and not be able to do anything for the baby board game. you know?
Yeah,
Mm.
but the thing is, that's just nature, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
the
it's-
strongest will
When
have
when
to
a new
survive.
game
Alive.
comes out and just supplants that game in the
it's-
environment, in the ecosystem, and it's like just wounded in a corner on its own.
I
No
was going to
one
say,
cares about it anymore.
is a mother
mean-
abandoning a child in the board game world when they release a second edition, but they don't update the expansions?
No, it's when they bring out Camel Up second.
Oh,
edition.
Oh,
yeah.
did these wheels.
Don't make me tap the sign, lolies.
I mean, I would definitely abandon second edition Camel Up.
I'm
If I was a
genuinely
mother.
impressed that you had such a robust answer to that question.
Very good. Yeah.
I'll read
The
out a
question
second
is
one.
very
That's what you get when you like. I'm not just a muppet.
Mm.
Like a shaped.
Not just a pretty face, is what you should have
Yeah.
said there. We
Sure.
have a secondary question here from Jacoba, who says, question for Ross, but I would like to hear DB's take as well. Why is practically all board game art drawings? Computer games have been going for more and more realistic graphics. Why not board games? It's interesting.
That's a real good question. So I'm going to have a slightly more serious answer. With board games, I still believe, even though they've been around a really long time, from an artistic perspective, they're still more in their infancy. Like they've not been developed as far. And Kickstarter and crowdfunding has really accelerated that change and meant people had to think about things in a more like, how do you make it more visually appealing? Historically, games might have been a little bit drier in terms of presentation. So there's a little bit of like, because that's how it's been. And so you are getting a lot more games that are changing the way they look. But also I think it ties back into what appeals about board games, which is they're analog, which is they're different from other mediums. And so, what's more analog than like drawing, right? So maybe they don't want to go too digital because then it feels a bit more like it's going toe to toe with computer games.
Yeah, I don't like. Feel free to clarify in the chat, Jacob. But I don't know if you're asking why haven't games gone for a like photography style or like 3D generated graphics. And I think for either, like, maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, but when I see a board game that, oh god, it's a sneeze. Oh, I'm not allergic to them.
Kind of, yeah.
when I see a board game that
Are
has,
you a one and done sneezer?
yeah.
That's it. That's how he's a pro. Just like
Pro sneezer.
I've got strings to
I'm
be
like,
lost.
He's been sneezing for, I don't know, like 25 years or
Listen,
something.
I don't want to brag or anything, but I've been sneezing for quite a long time, Pretty adept at it now. No, I do genuinely, especially it's hay fever season, so usually I'm just like,
Yeah.
I got lucky that time. But yeah, like, I don't know about everyone else, I won't speak for you, let me know what you think, but whenever I see a board game that has, like, photography for its art, it always comes across a bit more like brand tie-in, kind of like, like stills from a film kind of thing, where it's always a little bit like characteristic of the game they're playing. Whereas like, a gorgeous illustration always seems like a more, like welcome sight in game art. I do wonder if like, because one of the reasons that video games have switched from like 2D sprites to like 3D models is not just for fidelity. Sometimes you'll see games that started as 2D, like little indie games, and then they realize that actually like the workflow based on like the tools that we have now in the modern era, like it's a lot easier to pose a 3D model than it is to do like an individual illustration for every single frame of an animation, all that kind of stuff, right? So you might see at some point, like maybe someone will just hire 3D artists, and then we'll have like a much wider range of art that they can produce for the cards if they do it in that kind of style. I'm not sure.
I agree though. Like I don't. Sorry, Lilies. I like when I see cards that have like stills from a movie, or not stills from a movie, but photographs. That detaches me a little bit from what it is that I'm playing. Like I kind of like things that feel original to the world I'm participating in, and feel more connected to it. And the photograph makes me think it's a snapshot of something else, which takes me away from what I'm looking at rather than takes me into it. If that makes sense.
I think maybe an example of that for me is probably Last Night on Earth, which is just very like live actiony and like looks like it was a horror film that has been made, which is good in a way. But I don't know, it kind of like in theory it sounds very much like a game that's like Camp Grizzly or something that I would really enjoy.
I'm looking at the front cover right now of Last
Night
on Earth.
It's beautiful.
It looks like a porn DVD.
Yeah. it's a lot.
It's
very
something.
unusual.
It is something.
And I don't know, to me it's put me off. I don't know why. That's very
it does look like a porn DVD.
It looks like either like a porn thing, or it looks like a speaking of video games, it feels like video games went through a phase in the 90s where they had FM, where they had pre-recorded video that they stick into games, and it feels like an FMV game where they're like real actors, and you get to
like
which is
Resident
having
Evil did that, right?
Recently, actually.
But yeah, no. So in theory, Last Night on Earth is something that I should really enjoy. It seems like one of my ideal games, but I can't get past it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think any board game I've ever come across that has had like real like photographic, like I don't know where they got the pictures from, has always looked quite cheap and just weird. Like I think also when the comparison was made to video games, I think with video games, like obviously a lot of the like making it look more realistic and stuff, I think part of that is because like graphics keep getting better, right? And making things look better and more realistic. So like you're kind of representing that realism on the front cover. Whereas like board games aren't trying to do that. They're not trying to like be like, oh my God, we look so real.
Well, I'm looking at the board and I think there's a real world on my table.
Yeah. So I think I think there's that element of it as well. Like, because that's what I feel like that's what video games are doing or trying to do sometimes with their.
Some video games try and sell like that you feel you're in a real world and it's so engaging all around you. Board games don't really do that. They know what they are. They're not like you want to imagine yourself in the world, but you don't physically see and believe you're in that world. It's a very separate representation of something that you're interacting with.
Although to counter that, like if you look at the miniature side, like you look at tabletop wargaming, that is 3D modeling technology that is getting better with every year. You look at the first ever Games Workshop models and they look absolutely crap. But then you look at modern ones and they're like incredible, like miniature amounts of detail, like just like wildly like textured and absolutely minuscule little like rats running around on the base and things like that. And that is a sign of like technology and like printing technology and 3D modeling technology getting better, right? So
there are games that have more of a 3-dimensional presence on the table. Like I haven't played it, but there was the Restoration Games did like a Dark Tower, like Return to the Dark Tower, with a huge kind of like monolithic structure in the middle. And Call Express, obviously, very realistic. So that's comes with little cardboard cactuses that you can put on your table.
It does, yeah.
So there are,
yeah. So
I prefer it this way.
Yeah,
don't change it.
I like that you get like full on proper illustrations with every board game that you're buying. Like it's one of the selling points for me. We have another question here, and it's expanding on Liv's statement. So, Liv, would you like to read out this question here from Nathaniel Levy?
Of course, yes. So, expanding on Liv's statement on motherboard games, are there rehabilitation centers for hurt or abandoned board games then? Charity shops?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're rehabilitation though, are they?
Yeah,
No.
I would say it's more like that's sad.
Yeah.
They've ended up in a
Aw.
charity shop.
I think it's like an orphanage almost,
Yeah.
and just go
Yeah.
there.
Like a
What about like a
Victorian orphanage.
what about like a library, like a public library? It's like a community center more than like a rehabilitation center, I suppose.
I like the idea of like board games being rehabilitated because like you've taken a board game from like '94 and re-updated the art and taken out all of the problematic elements. And stuff.
Restoration games would
Exactly,
do that in a
that's what
way.
I'm saying.
Games,
Ross,
there you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this right behind me. Didn't prepare this at all.
Oh.
Very casual. This is an example of a game that they
yeah.
restored, High Society, which has like this beautiful Art Nouveau art, which was a game from the 90s, which did not look anywhere near this nice. And then they've updated it, and it's got like more gender neutral or non-specific illustration in it.
Nice.
It's more like androgynous characters rather like the original. I can't imagine that being in the 90s version. Maybe it was.
Ross, you have to describe the cover of that game because listeners won't be able to see it.
So a place where nose and eyes would be.
Do you know that so there is like an interesting thing around that because that's set in the sort of like 20s and 30s kind of like flapper
in the
period of
boom
fashion,
in the
right?
boom times.
Yeah, and like
Boom.
and in the fashion of that era, like androgyny was really fashionable. Like it was I think after the First World War, when like more women were having service jobs and stuff, like shorter hair became more of a necessity, which then it became a fashion. And then you'd have quite sort of like androgynous clothing styles where like you would have like more like quote unquote masculine hair and dresses and stuff like that, which then like fully reversed itself after World War II for some pretty horrible reasons that I won't talk about on here. But like I think that is an interesting point of like it's cool to explore that in the outside as well. One thing that I'll ask for the rest of the group, which is something that I saw someone talking about on Twitter before. Do you think sometimes, and I know Lolies is going to have an opinion on this. Lolies, I'm asking you to not talk about Camelot when we say this. Do you think sometimes
I would never.
with like a second edition of a game, when like they put some pretty art on it, etc., do you think sometimes it can lose a bit of its character? Because one example that was given was like the High Society box looks gorgeous, but they were saying that it's lost a bit of its like satirical like jabbing at the rich that it used to have, whereas now it's very sort of like
very glamorous now.
Exactly,
Yeah, it's very glamorous.
As an open question for the group.
Trying to think of examples.
Yeah, me too.
Apart
from
from
Camelot is the
Camelot's
only one.
Yeah, we're not allowed to talk about that one.
Camelot second edition is a good example though, because it's like
I have been silenced.
yeah, it's like it's like something that was like quite fun and wacky, which now looks like a really like serious like almost like a drama on HBO, and it's like it's Camelot.
Yeah.
I'll give a really vague answer, which is whenever you reimagine anything, generally speaking, you try not to repeat what was previously done. You try and give a new spin on it to justify, the change. Which means it might be jarring for people who have memories of that thing. Like when you make a movie remake, right? And you're like, it's not the same. Or they had a version of Donnie Darko come out, which had the original intended soundtrack, which was different from the one that was with the movie. They couldn't get the licensing for particular songs. And when you watch that, you're like, this is wrong. It doesn't feel right. So there's an element of that. If you're familiar with the title, you're like, it doesn't feel the same to me. I'm connected to what it was previously. And I also think like, a lot of the time you have to change it to justify the rebranding. And maybe the original artwork, there was a lot in there, and you've moved away from that by having to justify it being new and having a new version.
I think that has like there's an interesting thing with board games like in general when having that approach, because with like Donnie Darko, like I can just go and buy the DVD or stream it online or whatever if I want to watch the original version. Whereas like if that old printing of Rainer Knizia's High Society is now just gone because they're not printing it anymore, then like that new version is not only different, but like the original version is no longer accessible. So it's like an interesting like
there's also something to be said for sometimes the original's still available on the market. So if the new one just kind of looks like the old one, what's the point? Like how do you convince people they need to buy it? Like it has to, like, an example that's not a great example, but then one I can really think of is there's a card game called Arboretum, which has trees in it, which I love. not prepared at all, but it's just behind me.
Gorgeous. Yeah, it's absolutely lovely.
Anyway,
How
for
did you
anyone who,
know what we're going to talk about?
I'm just next level. Anyway, I really love this game. I think it's a great card game. And in it, it's got really great illustrations that I like by a guy called Chris Williams, who, guess what he illustrated? Azul. That's right, Lois.
There we go.
Anyway, and they did a new Restoration Games did a new release of it, which was illustrated by someone called Beth Sobel, who I think is a fantastic illustrator. Really love her work. However, no offense to Beth, I prefer the original. So when I've got the choice between those two, they had like a special edition version came out, which was like, you remember, this might be more wheels than anyone else, when you used to get football sticker albums, or maybe anyone who had sticker albums, and you get shinies, or you have like
Ross,
cards.
You didn't watch our Monopoly charity stream then, because
No,
I
I
had plenty of
didn't.
shinies stuck to my face.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so like
Look at the red person.
the when I was a kid, these only still do sticker sets, and they're really expensive now. But you can get like shiny stickers, which are like the best player or something. Well, in this, they did like the cards were a bit shiny, which I guess is how they made it like a more special edition.
Yeah.
I find it making it harder to read, and I didn't think it looked as like for me it didn't look as like stylish, I guess. Where it felt quite sophisticated, the original one, and shiny cards for me it's not my vibe. It might be someone else's.
They actually, I was just thinking, because I was looking at your shelf behind you, and Jaipur is one where they brought out
got a new version of that. Yeah. I prefer the
Yeah.
original.
I prefer the original. It's got the lovely pink inlay and the green lights.
but I've got the new version, and I remember like when I bought it, I was really excited because in the shop, you know, like that new version, they've got like on the front, it's like comes with a like a metal coin. And I was like, oh, cool, metal coin, because I thought, there's that the bit that like you show if you've won the round or not. And I thought in my head the coin was something to do with that. And then it wasn't, and it was the coin actually doesn't do anything in the game. It's like
a first player marker or something.
No.
I don't even know what it does. I think it's just a coin. So
yeah, and I was like, I got it, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was kind of disappointed, but yeah.
With Jaipur, like the insert in the new one is like yellowy orange. It's kind of like a honey kind of color. It's like a warm color. And the original one's pink, because Jaipur is the pink city. Like it's famous for having sections of town painted pink for when, I can't remember which king it was visited, but it was an English king or British king rather, sorry, everyone. British king went, I'm just as bad as the rest of them. A British king went to visit, and they painted a part of town to celebrate that person visiting. And so that's like, again, that's an example of like you've lost a little bit of the connection to the original idea when you remake it. So I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you very much, everyone, for all of your very, very good questions, especially the one about catching board games in the wild. We are going to start wrapping up this podcast, but a massive thank you to our special guest, Ross. Please use this opportunity, Ross, to plug yourself, tell people where they can find you and what you've been up to.
So you'll find me in the Serengeti trying to track down fast-moving board games. But other than
Fast
that,
and Furious board game.
Yeah, exactly. That's always in the
So volatile though. You got to be careful of that one.
So if you want to find me when I'm more stationary, you can find me in the digital world under the moniker of More Games Please, or when someone in the past has stolen that handle, More Games PLS. Because someone 10 years ago created a Twitter account and did one post and never came back. I hate you, whoever you are.
We had the same with Dicebreaker, didn't we?
Yeah, that's why we're doing Dicebreaker.
So More Games Please or More Games PLS. That's Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Twitch as well. I stream board games twice a week. If you're into watching things live, I don't know who'd be into that, but you know.
Please say you're
no
into
one
that.
here.
All right, sweet. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very, very much for coming on. It's been lovely having you. Congratulations on your quick-witted guesses as well. Very, very good competition there. But if you want to find more from us here on Dicebreaker, then you can not only hit subscribe on the video that you're currently watching, hopefully, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Dicebreaker. You can also click on the bell icon to get notified whenever we put a new video live. And you can give it a cheeky little like as well, because it helps us with the algorithm. If you want to see more stuff in general, though, we have a whole website. Did you know that? A whole website over on Dicebreaker. What? I know, Ross. A whole website over on Dicebreaker.com. where we've got all sorts of fantastic articles and interviews and reviews and lists and whatever you might fancy. All written by all of the people who are currently not on the podcast. Last but not least, if you would like some exclusive Dicebreaker merch, then you can find that over on dicebreaker.myshopify.com. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you on the next video that we put live, which will be tomorrow. I believe we have the next episode of Arc coming out. And we've also got a very special Why You Should Play video on Sunday from Lowlies about why you should play Star Realms. I can't believe it took this long before we started making that video, but there it is.
I know. It's. I mean, yeah. I won't tell you why, but I'll tell you that you should watch the video.
I mean, it worked on me. I'm now playing Star Realms. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you wanna hear more thoughts about that from Elise, then go and check that out. And we've got plenty of articles coming up on the website as well, which we teased earlier in the show. But thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on the next episode, and until then, have a lovely day. Goodbye.
Bye.